that new threat from North Korea, testing a powerful missile they say is capable of carrying a nuclear warhead and could reach the entire U.S. mainland. The UN Security Council calling an emergency meeting, and President Trump promising, quote, "We will take care of it."
Overnight, North Korean TV gleefully announcing the test of a new type of missile, which Kim Jong Un says completes its nuclear force. The intercontinental ballistic missile stayed airborne nearly an hour, hurling into space 2,800 miles, higher and longer than any missile ever tested by the North Koreans, before crashing down in the Sea of Japan. This test launch was aimed vertically, but if the North Koreans tilt the angle horizontally, the ICBM could potentially reach all the way across the continental U.S. President Trump briefed while the missile was still in the air.
I will only tell you that we will take care of it. It is a situation that we will handle.
Until that happens, preparations are being made in Hawaii. An attack warning system not used since the Cold War will now be tested once a month. An unsettling sound, to say the least.
North Korea best not make any more threats to the United States. They will be met with fire and fury like the world has never seen. He has been very threatening beyond a normal statement. And as I said, they will be met with fire, fury, and frankly, power, the likes of which this world has never seen before. Thank you.
Thank you. But first, yesterday we heard the Director of National Intelligence, James Clapper, at Congress saying that North Korea's nuclear effort is the top threat to the United States. What would you do to deal with that reclusive country?
I would get China to make that guy disappear in one form or another very quickly. And let me tell you, people say,
how do you make him disappear and assassinate him?
Let me just tell you, no, well, you know, I've heard of worse things, frankly. I mean, this guy's a bad dude, and don't underestimate him. Any young guy can take over from his father with all those generals and everybody else that probably want the position. This is not somebody to be underestimated.
North Korea is famous for creating a cult of personality around the leaders of the country, and Kim Jong Un is no exception. He was the youngest son of the previous leader of North Korea, Kim Jong Il, and his favorite wife, Ko Young-hee. Now, as a child, he was sent to a prestigious boarding school in Switzerland, where he registered under an assumed name and claimed to be the son of a Korean diplomat. He then attended a Korean military academy and was quickly promoted up the military's ranks. Within days of his father's death in 2011, Kim Jong Un was transitioned into power with support from the country's ruling elite. Now, despite North Korea's pariah status on the international stage, Kim Jong Un is creating an almost godlike image for himself at home, similar to that of his grandfather, Kim Il-sung. Wherever he goes, he's met with fanatical devotion. Men wade waist deep just to get a look at him. Women are crying at his feet. It's really hard to know how much of this devotion is real.
여도 방어대는 밤중앙의 뜰앞과 잇따라 있는 동해 관문의 전초기지이며 섬초소 군인들은 저국 수호의 맨 앞장에 서 있는 문전 보초병이라고 하시며 크나큰 영광과 행복을 안겨주시는 경의하는 최고사령관 동지께 뜨거운 감사의 인사를 드리고 드리는 국민들입니다. 친근하신 그의 좋은 가슴에 흘러 차갑게나 그 숨결로 따뜻한 마음 하늘 같은 인도권 비듬에 끌려 우리 모두 따르며 살래 그의 없인 못 살아 김정은 동지 그의 없인 못 살아 우리 못 살아 우리의 운명 김정은 동지 그의 없으면 천만의 청대 전사들을 선군혁명의 길에서 생사고락을 함께하는 동지의 전우로 굳게 믿어 내세워주시는 경의하는 최고 사령관 동지. 김정은 원수님께서 실전과 무관한 훈련은 백날 천날을 해도 필요가 없다고 하시며 한 가지 훈련을 해도 내용과 형식 방법이 현대전의 양상에 맞는 훈련, 실전 환경에 접근된 훈련을 하도록 이끌어주신 경례는 최고 사령관 동지의 용도가 있어 우리 인민군대의 전투력은 백방으로 다져지고 있습니다. 백두산의 번개와도 같이 단숨에 적진을 타고 앉아 원수들을 모조리 쓸어버릴 수 있게 튼튼히 준비된 우리 인민군대를 당할 자 이 세상에 없습니다. 최고 사령관 동지께서는 전투훈련을 더욱 강화하여 모든 전투원들을 정찰, 침투, 습격, 파괴 등 그 어떤 어려운 전투 임무도 훌륭히 수행하는 만능 병사, 다병종화된 싸움꾼들로 준비시킬 때 대한 과업을 지시하셨습니다. 조선인민군 제525 군부대 직속 특수작전 대대는 최고 사령관이 특별히 중시하며 제일 믿는 전투단이라고 하시며 영광의 기념사진도 찍어주신 경례하는 김정은 동지. 최고 사령부가 찍어주는 좌표들마다에서 빛나는 군공을 세우고 경례하는 최고 사령관 동지께 승리의 보고를 삼가 드리겠다고 교리다지는 전투원들. 혁명단군의 멸종의 청창을 더욱 날카롭게 펴려주시려 정력적인 선군 용도의 길을 이어가시는 경례하는 김정은 동지를 우러러 군인들이 터치는 환호성 하늘 땅을 진감했습니다. 경례하는 최고 사령관 동지께서는 부대 부분대들에서 어렵고 복잡한 전투조법들과 동작들을 숙련시키기 위한 훈련에 힘을 넣어 모든 군인들이 그 어떤 불의의 중간에서 그 어떤 적과 맞다들어도 전투 임무를 자립적으로 능동적으로 수행할 수 있도록 지도하시었습니다. 경례하는 최고 사령관 동지께서는 명령을 받은 군인들이 적들의 아성에 번개같이 돌입하여 호되게 답대길 수 있는 일당백의 공격정신, 그 어떤 대상물도 일격에 죽탕쳐버리는 전투적 기질도 훈련을 통하여 다져지게 된다고 하시었습니다. 강한 정신력과 함께 육체적으로도 적과 싸워 이길 수 있는 완벽한 전투력을 소유한 인민군 군인들. 백두산 훈련 열풍 속에 우리 군인들은 혼자서 즉 100놈, 1000놈도 맞다다 나가 무자비하게 척쳐버릴 수 있는 무쇠 같은 체력, 무적의 장수 힘을 가진 펄펄 나는 싸움꾼들로 빡세게 준비되었습니다. 투쟁이 나온 사랑찬 결실이라고 높이 평가하셔 조선인민군 해군 무력의 실전 대비대는 신형 반함선 로켓 예비 남김없이 과시됐다고 하시면서 구체적 해군 무력 한마의 측에서는 통쾌하게 들어맞았다고 멋있다고 목표 식별 능력이 대단히 높다고 하시면서 커다란 만족을 표시.
Well, there he is, folks. The boogeyman himself. The most scary, diabolical dictator on Earth. Not only is he the biggest nuclear threat to the United States, he's also the biggest threat to the world. One push of a button, and this guy could blow up you, me, and everybody you know. I mean, just look at him. If you were to come across this guy in a dark alley, wouldn't you just tuck tail and shit your pants and run away scared? I sure as heck would. Alright, am I the only one that thinks this is hilarious? I hope you are catching my sarcasm because I'm laying it on pretty freaking thick here, people. Is this guy actually scary to anyone? Does this guy's army scare anyone? Am I the only one that finds this whole thing completely friggin' hilarious? North Korea isn't a terrorist threat. Look at these guys. Look at this army. It's a bunch of 90-pound weaklings. They look like a bunch of vegans. Let's watch these guys in battle. Whoa, man, they just came out of that makeshift helicopter and did some barrel rolls. Holy cow. And then there he is watching the whole thing from his office. Sure, I believe that. Like, hey, let me grab my binoculars and take a closer look. Oh yeah, I like what's going on out there. Looks good to me. And at this point, Kim Jong is kind enough to take us through a wonderful tour of the Karate Chopping Institution Training Center and Facility, where they, of course, teach them how to do why-all and what-alls, as you can see here. If you were to lose your gun and your knife and be stranded in Korea and then have to do hand-to-hand combat with these guys, you can see just how strong they are. I mean, look at these guys. This dude right here can punch through these banners. And then this other guy, you can throw a stone at him and it doesn't even faze him. I mean, you can pick up a big old rock and toss it and it doesn't even hurt these guys. This guy's using his fingers to poke some light bulbs. This guy's twisting himself around in a rope or something. I mean, obviously, these guys are some tough dudes. These are not the type of guys you want to be doing hand-to-hand combat with. And of course, my favorite part is when this one guy puts his hand over the concrete slab and then this other guy chops an axe into the guy's hand, which then breaks the concrete. Very useful in times of war. Extremely useful. So obviously, as you have just witnessed, North Korea is a huge military and nuclear threat to the United States and the world. And because of that, the US has been testing our missile intercepting system. That's right, if North Korea thinks that they can just shoot a missile at the good old US of A, well guess what? We can shoot a missile and intercept their missile. Or so they want you to believe. Did you guys notice that's a model rocket? Looked to me like a glorified model rocket, maybe a step above the kind that me and my friends used to launch when we were like 10 years old. Did you guys ever used to launch model rockets back when you were a kid? Take a good look at what this looks like to you. Military grade missile or toy model rocket? I'm leaning towards toy model rocket. Let's watch it in super slow-mo. Look at the way it deploys. And then watch the thrusters come on now. Yeah, that looks like a toy rocket. So that's supposed to represent the nuclear missile attack that would be coming from North Korea. So if North Korea was ballsy enough to attempt an attack on the United States, guess what? The United States is ready with a missile intercepting system. You see, we got this here hole in the ground, and we can do a little something like this. We can shoot us a rocket out of our hole in the ground. Yeah, did anyone notice if you watch in slow-mo, the rocket comes out above the flames, but it doesn't seem to come out of the hole. It looks like a bunch of fire coming out of the hole. And then if you look above the flames, suddenly a rocket appears. It's as if They shot some fire out of a hole and then CGI'd in a rocket. Like, screw them. We'll show them a model rocket the first time. And then the second time, we'll shoot some flames out of a hole. And then we'll CGI in a rocket at the end. They won't know. They're stupid. In my opinion, that rocket, the second go around there, looks like it was CGI'd in above some flames that shot out of a hole in the ground. The first one was what looked to me like a glorified model rocket. So what they want you to believe is we have a missile intercepting system, so that if somebody like North Korea or Russia or what have you was to shoot a nuclear missile at us, we could shoot our own missile and meet it just perfectly in midair, kaboom, and save everyone. Do you really think that's possible? To steer a missile into an oncoming missile and hit it just perfectly in midair? Is that something you believe in? That you can steer a missile and hit another missile? Well, that's what they want you to believe in. The Western media likes to portray North Korea as this military threat that we should all be afraid of. But the closer I look, the more CGI layers I see. Whenever they show us these supposed military armies marching and these tanks and vehicles, these trucks driving around with these supposed nuclear weapons, what I see are glorified stage props and CGI layering. All that shit in the background, that looks fake to me. That looks like CGI in the background. And then those trucks, how do you know they're not just carrying glorified water tanks that are dressed up like rockets? How do you know those things are even capable of getting up off the truck? Let alone making it to the United States. The way that flag flaps in the wind looks like CGI to me. The background, the buildings don't look right to me. This looks like typical Hollywood movie shit. I mean, with today's CGI capabilities, very little has to be real. You can literally just take a few people and a few stage props and then just CGI in the rest of it and make it look like it's this huge army and they have all these missiles and military capability, when in reality, it's just another Hollywood movie set. In my opinion, Kim Jong Un is not a military threat to the United States, or to anybody for that matter. And North Korea does not exist as most people think it does. I think North Korea only exists as a CIA state, a state of mind control. This has been the opinion of Jake the Asshole. Please like, share, and subscribe. Peace.